All right, guys, welcome to the ancient city of Oxford. Hello, guys. If you think that Oxford seems to be a rather strange choice for this particular book review, I would say to you, you're absolutely right. The reason for that is because I've been asked by Oxford University to take photos of their weekly long event first summer during the summertime. But yeah, so I'm actually here in Oxford, and I find myself have a little bit of free time. So I thought, okay, why not do this book review? So that is why I'm here in Oxford. Anyway, behind me you can see the famous landmark of the city, and that's the Red Cliff. Those bloody yellow jacket keep trying to drink my coffee. Anyway, that building there, as I'm sure you already know, is the John Radcliffe Camera. Camera means in Latin, meaning space. It is the reading room of the Bodleian Library. But anyway, about the sightseeing, if you are interested in coming and visit Oxford, as you know, I do have my own travel video called Global Hopper, and I do have Oxford content, so please go there and check it out. But anyway, go back to the actual book. The book is called Mindhunter. In fact, if you are a frequent watcher of Netflix, you probably have seen the series already. That's dramatization of the book and turn it into a fiction-styled sort of crime series rather than documentary that the book was originated. As I've mentioned previously, this is a true crime novel. True crime book, and it's written by John Douglas. John Douglas was a FBI criminal profiler. He's been there for 25 years. He started as a junior special agent. He was, in fact, before his career took off in FBI. He was a military man in the U.S. Air Force. He then joined the FBI. He was under the tutelage of some of the psychologists, and I wouldn't say he single-handedly started his behavior science, but the foundation has already been laid. But he's certainly one of the most instrumental employees to actually make what these behavior science in criminology it is today. He has contributed tremendously. So the book is really all about his 25 years of experience in FBI and some of the worst serial killer cases that he has personally solved and helped to solve. So it's everything about his experience in there. Now, profiling in FBI and police circles had a very bad reputation to be, it was called behavior science, and if you shorten them, it become BS. All right, so it became almost like an in joke by the police. Sound of Oxford. Basically, they were taking the piss out of these guys, saying that behavior science or it's just BS. But he single-handedly changed that behavior by analyzing the actual criminal scene and judged on the evidence available at the scene, come up with a profile of the possible suspect. And sometimes when you read this book, it feels almost as if you are reading the real-life Sherlock Holmes. And I've made some highlights. So let me just read you one of the highlights where he visited the crime scene and come back with a description. So after going over all the evidence and case materials and trying to place myself in the shoes of both the victim and the attacker, I came up with a profile. I suggested that the police seek an average-looking white male between the age of 25 and 35, probably right about 30, who would be disheveled in appearance, unemployed, and mainly nocturnal. Live within half a mile, of the building with his parents or old female relative. Be single and have no relationship with women and no close friends. be a high school or a college dropout with no military experience, have low self-esteem, and not own a car or hold a driver's license, who was currently or had been in a mental institution taking prescription medications, have attempted suicide by strangulation, was not a drug dealer or alcohol abuser, and who would have a large collection of bondage and SM, pornography. I don't want to say that out loud because I'm in public space. This will be his first murder, in fact, his first serious crime, but unless he was caught, not his last. So as you can see, the statement has no ambiguity. It was very direct and very clear in its descriptions of the possible suspect. And when the killer was finally caught, they realized that his description, his profile of the possible suspect was pretty much to the T. One thing quite frustration about this book is similar sort of profile was produced throughout the book with different descriptions of the suspect. However, it was not explained to the reader at any given time how he came up with this description. I really wish that he could explain how he can be so certain that the suspect was between the age of 21 to 25. That's quite a short gap. How can he be so sure? And it turned out to be true. So how can he be so sure? Another instance, he said the suspect will be driving a dark car, less than 3 years old. Again, it was turned out to be true. But the question in my head, and I'm sure in many readers' heads, is how do you know? How can you suss it out? It was never really explained. I guess that was the frustrating part of the book. But then I guess it's his sort of secret, right? So doesn't really want to let you know about it. In the book, it covered some of the most notorious serial killers in the US. We talk about the BTK, this bloody yellow jacket, seriously, I swear. He's going to drop my coffee. I refuse to let him drink my coffee. But anyways, it covered BTK, it covered the trial side murderer, it covered Green River murderer. He mentioned Todd Bundy, Jem Bill, the one that cuts off skin, crazy bastards. But anyway, so in terms of the writing itself, I'm very pleasantly surprised by how concise and how well written the book is, because normally, fuck off. Because normally, when you have a retired policeman or a law enforcement officer, when they write a book, it turns out to be, the substance is there, but the style is definitely not there. It can be a tiring experience to read books like those. But I'm pleased to say that John Douglas is a very, very skillful writer. And throughout the book, it feels like it just flows. It's like a page turner, but everything you read is true. So yeah, he was a very, very skilled reader. So that was very skilled writer. So that was quite a pleasant experience. However, one thing I do have to say to especially female readers, that this might not be the book of choice, not be a book by the beachside, if you know what I mean. It covers some really unpleasant, dark part of human psyche, and parts of it was described quite vividly in terms of vivid description of graphical mutilations of body, to cover about rape and all the unpleasant things in human. Lots of serial killers commit their crime against women. So you know what I mean, right? So, and it can be a very unpleasant read, particularly for female readers. So might just want to take that with some caution. Hey guys, sorry about the interruption. The main video of the book review has already been completed, and I just remembered I want to add my little observation. And I'm now sitting on the rather tranquil bank of Chavao River, and you can see that's the root of the famous Oxford punting. But anyway, my observation is this: because of the advancement of DNA technology, forensic technology, I think because of this, the gate, if anyone wants to be a serial killer, I think the opportunity has already passed. The golden opportunity was really concentrated on the 80s and 90s of last century. Nowadays, being a serial killer is very, very difficult. So if you are thinking of choosing that as your career path, I would strongly persuade you to forget about it. But anyway, guys, let's go back to the main video. And yeah, overall, I highly recommend these books for people who are interested in criminologies, in true crimes. It reads like a fiction. It reads like a modern day Sherlock Holmes. Talking about modern day, actually, he did mention towards the end of the book about who he thinks is Jack the Ripper, which I find very fascinating, using his profiling skills and using the evidence that was provided to him historically. He can say with a level of certainty that the killer of the Jack the Ripper, he can say with a level of certainty who Jack the Ripper is. I'm not going to tell you who. Read the book and find out yourself. It's very, very interesting. That last part was fascinating. I will strongly recommend this book to anyone who are interested in criminology, in true crimes, in good writing. But as I said before, lady readers, please take that with a bit of caution. But anyway, guys, that's the end of this episode. I hope I have presented this book well to you, despite the Yellow Jacket attack. And enjoy reading, guys. See you next episode.